Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for the rational perspective on Chelsea 2, Barcelona 1, the fourth pre-season game and the last out in Japan, which ended in victory for the Blues. I have to say, in my opinion, probably the best of the pre-season games, and that's sort of expected, or at least you hope that the intensity and the performances get better and increase in every game as we move closer to the opening game of the season. But I think considering the opposition, considering what Frank was trying today in terms of that 4-2-3-1, I think especially in that first 45 minutes worked really, really well. And there were lots of positives to take, which we'll get into now. Firstly, I want to talk about Tammy Abraham scoring the opening goal of the game. And I felt sorry for him because he did miss a chance, a glaring opportunity, a rebound from a Pulisic shot, which he thought was destined to hit the back of the net. But he got his chance again and he took it well. And for him, that was a massive moment. You know, I think Tammy and Michy and Giroud, who's going to start Old Trafford, especially if we are going to go with one striker, it looks like. That was a massive moment for Tammy. And I think not just the goal itself, the composure, the cool nature of his finish, but actually I think his all-round play, link-up play, hold-up play, physicality, pressing, really assisting with the press that we were going from the front, trying to get at Barcelona quickly in that first half. I think all-round that will impress Lampard, not just the scoring the goals, which of course is the most important thing, but his all-round play as well, which I think that's going to be questioned of both Michy and Tammy. Can they do what Giroud does? Because Giroud's such a good player at holding up the ball and attracting players and winning fouls and making space for other players, and that's what Tammy's going to do if he's going to be the main striker for Chelsea. But a great run out for him. And I actually think, moving on from that, the actual 4-2-3-1, which we heard before the game was going to be the main formation of the season, the fact that Frank's now done it in multiple games, I think pretty much indicates this is what he's going to go for, even though he did switch to a diamond late on to give time for Michy. But I like it. I have to say I was a little bit doubtful of the 4-2-3-1, just because, I've seen it so often. And, formations, they it's a bit like, peaks and valleys. Some formations go out of fashion and they come back into fashion. But really it's about the attributes of the players you have. And probably Frank looks at it and goes, with the players I have and also the formation I want to play, this is the one he's going to go for. And I actually think the one-touch, quick, aggressive style of football, and in terms of pressing from the front, which is all the rage currently in terms of the Premier League, worked really well for Chelsea, and I thought the fitness levels really showed today against the Barcelona side, who were playing their first pre-season friendly. You have to put that into context as well, but that's how the first goal came. Jorginho really up against Busquets, making him make that error, and then of course Tammy Abraham getting the chance to score. I thought from the front as well, Pulisic once again impressing, really doing well. Unfortunately could have scored one or two goals, had one where he lovely attracting a defender, taking it past him, running into the box, and unfortunately just hit the side netting with his chance. But I think he really impressed. Looks really sharp. I think it was the same thing I said against Kawasaki, and it's the same thing I'm going to say today. Looks sharp, looks intent, looks quick on the ball, quick movements, everything you want and everything we want from a player like Pulisic was there today, and I think that's going to be another big moment for him because he had longer than 45. I think he had about nearly an hour, which is great considering he hasn't been back that long. And then moving back from that, Mount didn't have as much to do today, but I still think he had his moments. He had one moment where he ran through into the middle that I think Tammy was out wide, and he chested it down, created space for himself, and then had a shot himself, and it wasn't too far away. But that's what Lamps is going to want him to do. Midfielders, we need midfielders, goal-scoring midfielders like Loftus-Cheek was providing, and hopefully Mount, as he's already shown in this pre-season, can offer that. So I think that was great for him. And moving on from that as well, from behind the front, the three behind the striker, Jorginho and Kovacic, there's been lots of praise for them. Jorginho doing what Jorginho does. I actually thought, he was getting pressed early on from Barca, but he done really well at winning fouls, which is a good attribute to have, especially when he's that deep usually, getting the ball from the defence or from Kepa. But Kovacic himself, I think this is the role that could potentially be for him. Even if he's not going to be a starter, that deeper lying midfield role where he can really pick out passes. He put out some lovely passing. I think a floated ball into Azpilicueta, which unfortunately didn't come off. But I think all round, I think Kovacic should be really happy with his performance today. And I think that could be the role for him. And him and Jorginho just worked so well together. Jorginho both with tackling and both with intensity, really marshalling and really directing play as he usually does. And Kovacic as well with tackling as well and keeping the flow of the game. Nice one-two touch football. that Frank is going to want. So I think overall that was good. The defence as well, I think Christensen and Luiz had a good half. They didn't have a lot to deal with, but they were up against Antoine Griezmann, who's obviously still a little rusty. But I think what they had to deal with, that was good. And I thought both Dave and Emerson actually done really well. Dave putting in some lovely balls into the box, and that's what he's going to continue to need to do into the season. We really need our fullbacks to move forward up the pitch and really become part of the attack. And Emerson did similarly. Moving into the second half, Barca made a host of changes. We made some changes to the back. I think we brought on Zuma, Tomori and Alonso. And then eventually there were more changes in midfield and up front. Naturally in these preseason friendlies, I think I've said this every video regarding preseason, the pace of the game does change, especially when you're making changes to your team. And the changes that Barca made definitely pushed them further up the pitch, and they had a few chances, and I thought Kepa made some good saves. And then I think there was a few more changes from Lampard. I think he put on Drinkwater, Bakayoko, Casey Pumper on Kennedy as well. And that itself changed the flow of the game as well. And Barcelona's fitness level, I think, started to drop, and our fitness levels really started to show on the pitch. And eventually Barkley, who I thought done really well when he came on, scoring a goal, a Lampard-esque goal, dare I say, into the bottom corner, which sealed the game. And Rakitic late on, a screamer into the top corner. Nothing you can do about that. Rakitic, a class player. And it ended 2-1. I think that's pretty much mostly what went on in the game in terms of me, in terms of like the positives that I took from the game. I think now that first 11, that started the game, is going to be pretty close to what Lampard will go for now. I think that's my instinct, of course, with the addition of Kante, and maybe you swap out a couple players, but I think the bulk of that team will be there. And I think considering that team got about 60 minutes, I think is really telling. As I say, there's still a battle for supremacy up front. Who's going to lead the line at Old Trafford? Also in the three behind the striker, I think, and it's obvious that Kante will likely fill that position alongside Jorginho. And also in defence, I think I have my doubts about Zuma. Tomori is now there's rumours about him going on loan, which doesn't surprise me, to be honest. But especially Zuma, he has, shaky moments. I think my worry about Zuma is with the ball at his feet. No one's doubting his aggression, his tackling, his speed. But I think it's just about sort of playing out from the back, which I think all the defenders, apart from him, I think are better at him. I think Christensen is better with the ball at his feet. Luiz and Rudiger, I think, are all better than him, in my opinion. But I love Zuma. I want him to do well. He's brilliant for Chelsea a few years ago, and if he can rediscover what he had and improve other parts of his game, he clearly, under Lampard wants him to be part of this squad. So, yeah, as I say, it was another important game, another 90 minutes in attack, a good workout against good opposition, even if it was their first game, even if there wasn't Messi on the pitch, it's still Barcelona. So it's good for the mentality that we got a win under our belt, especially after Kawasaki the other night. But we now move on to Reading. So the final leg of pre-season, we have Reading away next Sunday, then Salzburg in midweek, and then Mönchengladbach to round it off, I think on the 4th of August. And that will round off pre-season. And we really are now getting into that stage where we're moving from just fitness to much more sort of getting into the performance side, and things will definitely ramp up now. And we're going to start to get closer, hopefully, to discovering what that team will be at Old Trafford. So yeah, as I say, positive. Always nice to beat Barcelona, as I say, still pre-season. But some lovely moments, some real positives, and things to get excited about as a Chelsea fan. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Tell me your thoughts on the game itself, the positives, any negatives you picked out, your favourite players from the game. And yeah, I'll be back again for more videos coming soon regarding Chelsea. So thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on Twitter @SonofChelsea, and I'll see you again.